Smash the like button. Also, anybody who compares Karrion Kross and his wife to Edge and Lita truly deserves a fade to the face.
Crip niggas, blood niggas, essays, Asians, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, white boys, Jamaicans, Latin disciples, vice lords, Haitians. All these motherfuckers been patiently waiting. Oh yeah, by the way, I've been friends with the Games family ever since I was a child. Now, let's move on to Karrion Kross. I'm like, man, why do fans of fake pro wrestling go overboard just to defend another man, right? I saw maybe the dumbest comment of 2025 regarding Karrion Kross. Somebody said that without Scarlett, this is like Edge without Lita. I'm like, whoa, bro, like, what are you talking about? It's like, can you please repeat that? You just said without Scarlett and Karrion Kross, that's like Edge without Lita? Oh, no. He said Edge, he ain't shit without, he said Edge ain't shit without Lita? You made that far off comparison. That is so disrespectful to Edge. You think Edge is bland without Lita? I'm like, bro, that was a short time span. That was a phase. That was a tiny chapter of the career of Edge. You just compared Karrion Kross and Scarlett to Edge and Lita. Are you insane in the membrane, right? Edge was a megastar before Lita. Hell, he became a bigger star after he left Lita. So that's a dumb comparison. Like, how dare you, right? I'm a huge fan of Edge. That is very disrespectful. Without facts, with no evidence, you can go back and watch Edge and Lita. Edge was a former world champion with Lita. That's a dumb comparison, right? Now, the whole story is that the World Wrestling Federation, they didn't offer Scarlett a new contract. Now, that's bullshit. I don't believe that. Everybody knows Kross and his wife are a packaged deal. Paul Levesque knows that. Vince McMahon didn't know that. That's why he broke up Scarlett and Karrion Kross once Kross got on the main roster. That's why. Vince McMahon didn't know his wife was his whole entire act, okay? Kross, he's not interesting unless his sexy ass wife is by his side. Let's be real. In fact, a lot of people compare Scarlett to Sable. A lot of people compare Kross to Mark Merrill. So there's no way that Nick Khan did not want to sign his wife. That's dumb. Without his wife, Kross is a boring fuck. Okay, let's be real. So this whole angle, it sounds like a work, right? It sounds like a sympathy work. Maybe Kross will come back as a good guy. That's what I think. They are building up Kross as a good guy when he does come back. Because this sounds like a work, bro. Huge work. It's like Paul Levesque re-signed Kross with his wife. Hell, they were signed together. In fact, if you remember his first run, they were both signed at the same time, which means they were a packaged deal. You can't sign Kross without his wife. Now, let's make that comparison, right? Let's make that comparison. You marks, you mixed up the wrong comparison, right? Without Sable, Mark Merrill, he's boring, right? That's a better comparison. The real comparison was, that's like Mark Merrill without Sable. That's a better comparison. Don't you dare say Kross without Scarlett is like Edge without Lita. Are you insane? Like, wow. Edge had a better career after Lita. The fuck? Bro, Edge had a 20-year career, bro, without Lita. 2 years, bro. That's about it. 2 years they were an act. That's about it. Like, watch your mouth. Don't disrespect the legacy of Edge. Now, let's repeat this. Let me educate you one more time. Karrion Kross without Scarlett is like Mark Merrow without Sable. That's the better comparison. Hell, you can't compare this to Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. You can't compare them because Macho Man was better without his wife. Let's be real. And if you don't believe me, cool, let's run that fade, dog. But Kross cannot say that. For years, this has been happening, where people have been saying Kross is kind of boring without Scarlett. He needs his sexy ass wife by his side for him to be interesting. Every time I watch Raw, I want to see Scarlett by his side. That does make sense. She is a sexy ass female. The fact that Kross said they didn't offer his wife a contract, yeah, this sounds like a mega work, a massive work. They are trying to build up sympathy for Karrion Kross when he comes back as a good guy, most likely under Killer Kross. And he's going to cause mayhem on this roster when he does come back as a good guy, right? Why would Kross come back as a heel when he has all this fan support? He has the sympathy card. People feel sorry for Karrion Kross, and most likely he will come back as Killer Kross, a new character that he had when he was in TNA. That's what I think. Because wow, it's like, that story sounds fake. It's like, why would you sign Kross without his wife? And thinking he's going to accept that offer. That's wild. Also, let's talk more about Edge and Lita. That was a great duo. That duo was legendary, iconic. How dare you compare Kross and his wife to Edge and Lita, two Hall of Famers? Those two people are Hall of Famers. They were the face of Raw for at least 2 years. John Cena had to deal with them for a 2-year span. That was a great duo. Yes, Lita was a great dance partner for Edge, but Lita was not the whole entire act. In fact, eventually, people wanted Edge to dump Lita so he can go solo. That's not the case here. People don't want to see Kross without his wife. Like I said, Vince McMahon tried that. Kross is kind of boring without his wife. He's kind of bland, plain, generic without sexy ass Scarlett. Why would Paul Levesque be dumb enough to do that? Now, the real story is they are going to re-sign Scarlett, or they were going to re-sign Scarlett down the line because they have separate contracts. They don't have the same contract, which means they had to negotiate a new contract for Scarlett down the line once they got Karrion Kross locked up, because they are different, separate contracts. That makes sense. Good God, man. Now we got all these Mr. Symptastic fans of Karrion Kross saying that he did the right thing by not re-signing because they didn't want to bring back his wife. I'm like, wow, you a mark if you believe this bullshit story. There's no way in hell that this is true. That Kross said, you know what, no, I'm not coming back because y'all don't want to bring back my girl. Who believes this? And no, he is not a great guy by doing this. Bruh, that's his wife. Okay, so please, shut the hell up. The main angle is, this makes no sense. This sounds like a work. And I'm done.